Welcome to the Russian Room. This room was dedicated in 1938 as part of the first set of rooms to be dedicated. It was designed by Dr. Andrei Avinov, the director of the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh at the time, in a Russian traditional folk style, also including Byzantine stylistic elements. If you look up at the ceiling, you can see that the corners are decorated with designs which were adapted from wooden honeycake molds. These molds were used to make pryaniki, a popular dessert. The symbols represent each of the 4 seasons. Autumn is represented by the grapes, winter by the pine cone, spring by the bud, and summer by the sunflower. Going to the windows are of a handmade glass with geometric designs that are very common in 17th century Russian palaces. The designs of the furniture further reflect the geometrical designs of the windows. The table is made out of oak boards held together by butterfly keys. A triangle on each student chair surrounds a symbol of a region or a folktale in the Russian tradition. For example, the sturgeon represents the Volga River, and the reindeer represents Siberia. And the swans represent folk tales in which maidens were magically transformed into swans. On the professor's chair is an ancient tree of life symbol, and the reading stand is modeled after an analoi, a stand which is used in Orthodox churches to hold heavy volumes of books, such as the Bible or other scriptures. Above the blackboard are carved the twin birds Sirin and Alkonost, which were symbols of joy and sorrow. They look exactly alike because in life, joy and sorrow are often closely interwoven. On the back wall are 3 different important displays. In the center, there is an Applique Banner, or Vyshivka, portraying St. George, the patron saint of Moscow, slaying the dragon. St. George also became the patron saint of Russia. In the corner, you can see the hand of God appearing from a cloud to bless St. George and Russia. The Applique Banner is composed of many small pieces of fabric stitched to a backing. It is typical of the needlework once done by aristocratic Russian ladies. It is surrounded by a frame, which is called kiot. In the bottom section of the kiot, the words "Valorous youth victorious over forces of evil and darkness" are carved both in Russian and English. A kiot also surrounds the icon, which is in the corner of the room. An icon is a special type of religious painting, which is very important in the Russian Orthodox Church and other church traditions. This icon depicts the miraculous saving of the city of Kitezh from a Tatar invasion in the 14th century. In the other corner of the room, there is a display case which houses 3 items: a matryoshka, or a Russian nesting doll, a porcelain plate, and a porcelain teapot. These items were donated to the Russian Room after the President of Russia visited Pittsburgh in 2009 for the G20 summit. The door, being the place that we both enter and exit the room, is also very important stylistically. The half-octagonal top of the door is typically Russian and appears in many traditional Russian homes. The rising sun above the door represents the vast size of Russia and the trust for the future. С Рождеством Христовым! Merry Christmas! Christmas traditions in Old Russia were a mixture of European customs and ancient Russian traditions, rich with legends, games, rituals, caroling, and feasting. Christmas was often thought of as a time for magical rituals, both more serious ones that people did in order to protect themselves from evil spirits and to bring prosperity and happiness into their families, and also more lighthearted divination games. The most popular of these were played by girls who wanted to try to predict whether, when, and whom they would marry. Examples of such games included pouring hot wax into water and seeing what shapes it formed, running outdoors on Christmas Eve and holding up a mirror to try and see the reflection of the person she would marry, and at midnight on Christmas Eve, throwing one of their boots across the street, and the first person who found the girl's boots would be her future spouse. In addition to these magical rituals and games, Christmas is one of the holiest days in the Russian Orthodox Church. And as such, it was really common for families to go to church services and also fast for the weeks leading up to Christmas. All of this culminated in the Christmas Eve feast, which happened right as the first star appeared in the night sky. The singing of carols, or kolyatki, often followed the Christmas meal. The family would then dress in costumes representing bears, goats, and stable animals in Bethlehem, and parade through the neighborhood caroling. Christmas trees were brought to Russia by Peter the Great in the 18th century and became a big part of these traditions. Trees were decorated with nuts, candies, apples, and cookies, and Father Frost, Den Moroz, would come to give children presents, especially on New Year's Eve, which has also been, since the 18th century, a very important celebration in Russian tradition. S Novym Godem! Happy New Year!
Thyra and I thank you for visiting the Russian Room at the 2020 Nationality Roots Open House. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays!